Hello, one and all. Hey, Metal, you just got out of bed. Well, I woke up at about 20 to 5 this morning, 20 to 6. But technically, I went to bed at like midnight, then woke up at about 20 to 6. Although technically, I only slept 4 hours. There's a riddle for you. How'd that happen? How do you go to sleep at midnight and wake up at 20 to 6 and only sleep about 4 hours? Anyways, let me share this out. So tonight we're going to, of course, hopefully finish up these last two characters. That way next week we can start on some new characters. And happy May the 4th be with you, too. Okay, let's copy that link and then we put it in our going live. Publish. Confirm. There we go. And we'll get in the on air room too. Oh, start virtual camera. That way, yep, people can see it there. So how is everybody tonight? Is anybody here to talk to me at the moment? Are you here, Metal? Let's see. Hey, Fitzchozo, how are you? Okay. Let's see whether we can finish this up.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, Metal, how are you?
I'm awake.
I'm about the same too.
Yeah, you had a long weekend.
Yeah, I I got 4 hours sleep before going into work this morning. But
Really?
I went to bed at midnight and got up at about 6 o'clock. But I got 4 hours sleep,
Mm.
and I
I
slept
went to
from
bed at 6 o'clock.
and I slept all the way through basically from midnight to 6 o'clock. But I only got 2 hours, 4 hours sleep.
Um, is there a time zone difference? I don't know where Saskatchewan is. I don't know if that's in the same time zone as you or not, but
No, it's not in the same time zone as Ontario,
okay. Is
where
that why you
I
only got 2 hours of sleep?
4 hours sleep. Yeah,
Yeah, 4 hours. Yeah.
I
I'm
left.
like, because that math isn't mathing unless like you change time zones during that time.
Yeah, that was sort of the riddle.
Okay.
uh, yeah, well, I left Saskatchewan. I didn't leave Saskatchewan technically at midnight. I left it at like about 9 o'clock. But I went to Calgary to come back to Toronto. I know, go figure. So, yeah,
Yeah.
got on the was boarded the plane about midnight, and basically I went almost right to sleep and woke up about 20 minutes before we landed. And hello, Mike.
Mm.
Sure, Mike. Sure, I will be ready for next Sunday. So, and then I woke up. When I woke up, it was basically 6 o'clock, technically. You know, but I passed through two time zones. I went from
Hi, everybody.
hello, Fitzjozo. How are you?
I'm fine.
That's good.
Uh, I've been, I've been watching Little Witch Academia, and the show is pretty good. From a writing, even though it looks like what you expect an anime look like, from a writing standpoint, it doesn't even feel like an anime. It feels like a Disney Channel show just happens to be made in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I was more interested in what Rick was talking about.
I don't know what he was talking about.
On my weekend, I was at a Comic Con.
Oh, I
Where
didn't know because I didn't. Mm.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at the maps now because I never quite knew exactly where Saskatchewan was. It's kind of in the middle. That
Mhm.
makes sense to me. Um, but you have based on where you are, literally all of Ontario and Manitoba in between the
yeah,
states. So
yeah.
I guess it could be even further depending on which side of Saskatchewan you were on.
I was
Where's
in
Saskatoon? Let me see.
Saskatoon,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and when I technically went to, although I was still 2 hours behind Ontario at that point, but
Yeah.
everything, my riddle, if you will, was more from Calgary, Alberta,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know where Calgary is.
because I
So that
flew
makes
from
even more sense.
I flew from Saskatoon to Calgary to fly to Toronto.
And you had to go backwards to go forward. I had a friend in
Yeah,
Calgary. That's yeah, that's definitely another time zone. That's the other side of Montana.
what did did I put those in the Arnachini company by accident?
I'm in the same time zone as Calgary half the year.
What we went to again? Like what was that called again?
I went to Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. That is a town and a province. For Saskatchewan PopCon YXE, which is basically the letters that you would use for the airport.
Mhm.
So,
Mm.
yeah. And I sold about $200 worth of stuff. Made a connection to somebody in that lives in Edmonton that probably going to be an artist on my comics.
Mm.
So,
What's his name
I have a
again?
lot of friends in Edmonton.
The guy's name.
the new guy that I met, I forget. And I got it. I'm pretty sure I got it in all my stuff. So I just I haven't unpacked. I got home at 9 o'clock, and an hour later I went out to work, and
Okay.
I've been home for about 2 hours, but I went over to the dollar store so I could get something to drink slash something to eat.
Mm. Mhm. Mm. What I was talking about, because the thing about Little Witch Academia is that it lacks most of the character archetypes that I expect from anime like this.
Okay.
Uh, because something like Familiar of Zero, that's more what I expect from from an anime set in the school setting. But
Uh,
not Little Witch Academia just throws most of them out the window. So we have Akko, who's the hyperactive girl, Lute, who's the shy girl, and Susie, who's the super introverted, reserved one. That's the main character. So I'm like, well, it's just like I said, it feels more like a Disney Channel show than a traditional anime.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe your expectations are usually in the wrong place. Because that sounds more like what I'm used to.
Also, the
Maybe you've
plot's
just
uh,
been
don't
uh,
focus.
ruined by a lot of bad stuff.
uh,
Yeah,
uh,
maybe I don't know.
and myself, I don't know you have anything I really expect from any anime. It's a cartoon. I watch it.
Yeah, Rick
Eh,
just kind of goes in completely blind.
it's the best way to go in, right? No preconceptions.
I think it depends. Sometimes you can go into something that's bad and still have fun if you have preconceptions, but that's only if it's like something that's specifically, explicitly bad. Um, that like everyone agrees is bad. Otherwise, yes, it's probably best to go in with no preconceptions.
So I stayed with my cousin. This is him in let's see, flip. You get it to flip. Which way do I flip canvas? Or clockwise. This is he had this Joker mask and then this other stuff that he dressed up in. And these little vials on this thing are made of glass. And my next door neighbor was giving out these small little ducks. He tried to
Yeah.
squeeze one of the ducks in his vials on the corner of my table there, and
Mhm.
he pressed a little too hard. The
It
duck did not.
exploded.
Yeah, and he ended up cutting himself. And this is he had to go see first aid, and that's it. I'm not sure whether that's before or after first aid or after just some stuff wrapping around where we were. His one hand.
It was a little
He
too ambitious.
yeah
uh, uh,
he got 4 stitches in his thumb and I think 2 in this other finger. And then there was some other minor cuts, but nowhere near as bad. Didn't
um,
stitches and other ones.
Yeah.
I will say, Little Witch Academia episodes are better on average than Elena the Wandering Witch, because there are a lot of witch animes, come to find out. But but
I'm trying to
but
hear about
but
Rick's con experience, Viz. I don't care
okay.
about Little Witch Academia right now. Rick just came back from a convention. He was gone all weekend.
Yeah, I left Friday, came back Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I assume it's a comic convention. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what exactly it was.
Yeah, it was well, pop com, so pop culture. Like I showed did a video showing my booth, and I did a video, walked around for like 24 minutes showing a little bit of what it had before it started. So some of the booths were covered and didn't get to talk to many people because not a lot of people were there. But yeah, I gave out a ton of my ash cans, gave out a ton of my small free stickers. I sold 19 copies of Canadian Shield 1. I think I sold like about
Nice.
12 copies of Snowdrift 1, about 7 copies of Canadian Shield 2, and about 4, maybe 5 copies of Canadian Shield 3. So, and I gave away a bunch of business cards, so a lot, and people were recognizing me from the last time, so, that I was there 2 years ago, just before my mom died. So that was good. They were recognizing stickers that they had got for me back then. So any other questions or whatever? Covered some basics that I don't have.
Yeah, well, I know in your video, you said you didn't make your money back, but overall, you felt you did better because it was a longer, like con for you, but you kind of did the same as the shorter one.
Well, no, the last time I was there, it was 3 days, and
Oh,
I
okay.
and
It was
I
the other one.
did, yeah, and I got about $200 last time, just a little over $200. And this time it was 2 days, and I made about $200, just over 200
So you
bucks.
did better in less time.
Yeah, or I did about the same in less time.
Yeah. Higher rate.
Yeah, and my expenses were a little less this time because I stayed with my cousin, and I didn't have to put out. So I didn't have to put out for lodging. I didn't have to put out for food. Although I did end up having an extra expense of had to pay to put my check my bag that I had most of my comic stuff in because I was dumb and didn't get a flight that I could have a carry on. So, I had to pay for that come there and back. So, that was an extra $150 I wasn't expecting. But, and then, like I said, I made that extra contact of a comic book artist that I should be able to employ, and through Canadian funds instead of American, so it'll be a bit cheaper on my pocketbook.
Mm.
Anything else you
I've
were?
never been to a comic convention before. Mostly, mostly because I just obviously come from a poor background, so I've never been to anything.
Well, I come
Oh
from
man, dude, I was extremely poor and I still managed to go to conventions. But that's
yeah,
mostly because a combination of generous friends, or if I just wanted to go by myself, I was just really set out to make sure I could go.
yeah. And usually for a day, it's not too bad. It's I know it can be a lot in some ways, but it's depending on where you go, and I'm not sure how much in the states, but I know here it's like 25, maybe $40, depending on how big it is. And then there's a lot of smaller ones that like it's five, maybe 10.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been to some where you could get like a day pass, even during the 10 still for like 10, $15 if it's a really small.
I mean, my local one's called MomoCon, so like in Georgia. So,
Mm. See, I guess the benefit is growing up in the Dallas area, I always had tons of options for conventions, right? It's like a major area for stuff such as that. Especially specifically if you were interested in anime,
Uh,
because of Funimation and a bunch of other studios are right
yeah.
there. But also for gaming, right? Like QuakeCon is right in the Dallas area. I think it's usually in Irving. And QuakeCon, the lobby, the public area is free. Yeah, you have to pay for a pass if you want to go to the panels or anything like that. But if you just want to set up a computer and play with people or hang out with random people, you could just go in for free.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it's the biggest LAN party in the world every year.
Yeah, Hamilton's had conventions for. We now have one, Hamilton Comic Con. We had one before that lasted a couple years that I went to, and well, the last 5 or 6 years I've been going to the Hamilton Comic Con with the booth, getting a booth. And then Niagara Falls and Toronto have had cons for I don't know how long.
Mhm.
Although I never really attended those ones because then there's the expensive. Those ones I couldn't afford to go to, but because then you gotta travel and all that. But the ones in Hamilton were like $20 or something like that. So I didn't buy myself something or whatever for a couple months, maybe for that or whatever.
Yeah.
And the thing
Well, you've had
is,
an experience I've never had at cons, and that's actually from running a booth. I've only ever went as an attendee.
yeah, yeah. Well, usually, heck, before running a booth, I'd only go for one day, and I probably was only there for couple hours. I wouldn't be there for the full day
No,
because after you see everything,
which is crazy to me.
pardon it.
And so that's crazy to me because, like, as an attendee, if I was going to a con, I was going to go basically all day for the entirety of the convention.
Are you all right there,
Fitz, you all right? There's
Fitzsusan?
a lot of weird sounds coming from your end, like
none.
heavy breathing and snorting and stuff. I don't know.
No, 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 no. I always got nasal problems because of my deviated septum. Like one nostril's
Oh, okay.
usually close shut. Usually. I'm breathing out right now.
Okay. As long as there's not like some abnormal issue. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I would go to one of my favorite ones. I'm so sad that this convention doesn't run anymore. Was the Screw Attack Gaming Convention, and that was a weekend party. It would start Friday and Sunday, and even when there weren't panels running, which their panels were running late, uh, the convention was technically running the entire weekend. Right, it never actually closed. Arcade would be open the entire time. You could find people to hang out even in the middle of the night. Shoot, at SGC, I wouldn't even go to sleep.
Yeah.
And that was also one of the places. That one, I guess, is also particular because if you were part of the community for Screw Attack, like that's where a lot of my Canadian friends that I know came from Screw Attack, and they came down to Texas, and that's where I would hang out with a lot of them and stuff. Um, and you're like, you don't want to leave the convention or anything because like you just want to be part of the party the whole time. But even some like other stuff, like Retropalooza or like Comic Con fan days or whatever. I don't like the main Comic Con fan days can be all right, right? Um,
Mhm.
like I don't know. For me, it's a place that you can also meet people, right? So if I'm not there the whole time, I'm missing possible connections. I think is part of it.
Yeah, I just went, to check. Well, I checked out Artist Alley, and everything,
Mm-hmm.
just to buy some stuff. I tried to, when I went, I've always, especially as an attendee, I've always tried to buy some stuff from Artist Alley. You know,
Yeah,
now
yeah.
not
Support the small guys.
now not so much. Like because unless I'm making some money, I don't really want to spend a lot at a
Yeah, yeah.
con.
It's like if you're not making the money, you're just losing it.
But this one, there wasn't a lot of other, as you probably saw from my thing, there wasn't a lot of other artists there,
Yeah.
which is a shame, but it is pop culture.
Was the artist alley completely consumed by cosplayers selling their photo prints?
I think there was a couple of those, but not too much.
Oh, okay. A lot of
Uh,
my time when I go to a place like that and there's not a lot of artists, it's because cosplayers took over the entire artist alley.
yeah, well,
To the
there's
point that
like,
sometimes they have to make an entire separate lane for cosplayers so that the artists still have a place.
yeah. There's lots of people doing like jewelry and stupid stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I
Let's
mean, if they made
see.
it themselves, I still count that as art, right? They belong in the artist alley.
Yeah,
But only if it like has to do with the stuff. Like if somebody just brought regular jewelry, that's lame. If they brought stuff that's got like I don't know, like comic characters or something on the jewelry, or it's themed like
And
their
what if
colors or
somebody
whatever,
made a knockoff of
that would
Fandy
be fine.
Gems?
Come again?
Somebody made knockoff and Fandy Gems or something.
Yeah, yeah. Like if it has to do
Or,
with the
or,
comics, then that's all fine. Like you
or
go
somebody
ahead.
made Chaos Emeralds and stuff.
Yeah, or like maybe they have like Green Lantern rings that they made themselves for sale or something. Like whatever.
yeah, like
That's cool. That stuff belongs in the area. You make little keychains with like chibi versions of comic characters or something. That stuff also belongs there.
okay. So let me, yeah, bring this up. Uh, so let's see. We'll see a little. I'm not gonna play the audio, but let's see. Browser. So we'll go along. Here's one person's booth, some art stuff. Or let me mute this. Oh, this is one of the. This booth isn't all set up because I did this. I did this all before it was open. So
Yeah.
I had set up my booth basically, and then I went around. You know, some people hadn't opened up their booths or whatever. They set it up the night before or whatever. So some nice art there. Saw a cyberpunk thing. Got some nice stuff. Again, a nice some art there. And then some gaming tables and all that. Oh, there was a guy next to me that had a game that his banner looked very Final Fantasy-ish. He's creating his,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think, his own tabletop game and all that.
Oh, nice.
So
I do like looking at other tabletop games.
And it seems very D&D Final Fantasy-ish.
Yeah.
I didn't get a good look.
Did you get his information at all?
Yes, I did. I was thinking about you
Okay.
right at the end, and I got it, so I can give it to you. I got to go through all my crap.
No, that's fine. No rush.
You know,
It's gonna be like, Rick, don't tease me and then have no information for me.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, I thought of you with the stuff
Mhm.
there. Let me pop this. Can I pop this? Yeah. I just want to pop my chat out just in case anybody ends up saying anything here while we're talking. I doubt it, but
Because I've oddly enough decided recently that when it comes to X Dynamis Chaos stuff, since I finished that chapter, my main priority right now is getting the EDK tabletop RPG rule set finished. I actually have it open in another tab, so it's like my tabletop has been on the brain lately.
yeah, this chasing artwork, they had a pretty big booth.
But the only thing on my brain is somehow getting my laptop back so I can
Oh, I could tell.
Yeah.
so I can continue more of my projects.
Here's one with some plushies, a store or whatever.
It's been like a month since I made a video on my almost a month since I made a video on my alt account. So
Some more art.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't look too
Yes.
crowded either. It looks like there's a lot of space.
Oh yeah, the
for, like,
aisles are
walking around and stuff.
the aisles are definitely fairly wide to walk through. I shouldn't say there wasn't a there seemed to be a fair amount of artists, but not a lot of I'd say superhero type ones, or a lot of people with their
Yeah.
own or a lot of people with their own comic books.
There'd be a lot of like people doing fan art for like video games and anime.
Yeah, like
Um, that's typical for a lot of these places.
here's another good one. Yeah, I think you got some D&D characters or whatever here.
Well, I see Vivi from Final Fantasy IX,
Yeah.
and I saw Freyren before you had free phrased it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, characters are recognized. It's hard to tell. It's kind of small and blurry for me, but
Yeah.
this is a big
some characters have such obvious shapes that I've seen them so much.
So I don't know. I don't want what I'm looking at. I can't
Yeah.
see past the big white square in the center of the screen.
Okay, what are you guys seeing?
I see this vertical video. It's very skinny.
Yeah. This, of course, is on my YouTube, so anybody can view this at their convenience. Pause it, maybe
I think
zoom
I've seen
in
it already. I just haven't bothered to like sit there and scan the whole thing. I was kind of like passively watching it.
Yeah, I get that, and it's just I figured, what the heck, do this right now. Just just trying to show off a bit of stuff. Another, fan art print stuff type thing. Whole bunch of characters in one thing. Totally Jurassic, that's the guy's name. Or comic company. And I try and go down row by row. Another person I don't recognize any of the characters. I think they're just doing stuff. Now this guy looks pretty good. All these paintings. Here's a nice tabletop they had here.
Yeah.
Star Wars
I
Legion.
always love that part about conventions where I don't know if that one's just a display or if they were playing it, but
They
at a
were
lot of
supposed,
conventions you can usually find.
yeah,
Hmm?
I think they were supposed to be playing on that during the day.
Okay.
I never went over
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
looked.
A lot of conventions you can find tables with pickup games where somebody's just like running it and you could come in and um, depending on whatever's going on, you might only spend like an hour or two. You like roll in a character, roll out. But some people they might be playing all day, right? Like they might
Yeah,
have like 8 hour sessions or whatever, and it's just like you get to be part of a game that day.
yeah, yeah. And this was the first day. It was open 8 hours. The second day 7 hours.
Some conventions will have a whole room at like whatever the convention center is. It'll just be like a smaller, maybe like
Yeah,
classroom sized room that
yeah,
just has tables for people to play card games and tabletop games and stuff in.
yeah. Here's some more stuff. I don't recognize any of the characters, but
I do, unfortunately. Some of those characters are from like Has Been Hotel and stuff like that.
yeah,
Hell of a boss. Actually,
Uh,
most of those
yeah,
characters are.
I hate the Helloverse. I never liked to begin with. So
I wanted to, not as much Has Been Hotel because it was very like it had potential, but it was very like lame and Disney esque even from that pilot. But Hell of a Boss, I thought had a lot of potential. You know, it was basically like office humor but with demons. It just quickly went downhill. Like it had a few like good first 4 episodes, and then
yeah.
it just decided it didn't want to continue it.
Here's another person selling a little bit of art, a lot of stickers. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably stuff that maybe I don't recognize, but you guys might recognize if you look close
Yeah,
enough.
I recognize some of them.
why
Yeah,
I can't see I can't
Contemporary.
really see the screen
I
because
see.
like well, again this is white space taking up half my screen on my phone.
I see Kane. They're off to the side from Digital Circus. There's just quite a few different things.
and there's some people that hadn't quite arrived yet. Here's some movie posters. I know Wise Guy was, I think, asking how much the posters were.
What's he gonna do? Wire you some money so you can mail it to him?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't go back and check afterwards. Here's where a lot of the celebrities would be, but I didn't check that out. A booth covered up, another booth covered up. Going down. Booth with a whole bunch of fans. So it's neat, but I'm not sure what else was at this booth because it was all covered up. But you know, and a lot of people there are selling 3D printed stuff too. There's a one with a whole bunch of pops. Nice poster of Princess Leia Rebels. I think a little
Yeah.
what's her name from World War II? The Sam. I think it was Sam. Whatever. The Army girls.
Um, Army Girls. I'm trying to think.
Well,
The only thing I remember from World War II was like Rosie the Riveter.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Rosie the Riveter.
Okay.
In that sort of pose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, she's kind of in the same pose there. The kind of like, yes, we can do it pose.
Uh, Again, like I said, a lot of these booths aren't completely set up. There's one that's nothing in it at that point. one with posters, jewelry. I'm not sure if you recognize any of these characters here.
Okay, I can't see anything this time, but this would be me being on my phone.
Yes, yes, yes. But I'm here. He's asking me too. Um, but sometimes it is still even just too blurry. Like I have this full screened at the moment, and some of it's still just like a little too blurry.
Yeah, I get it. Like
Yeah.
when you pause it, instead of showing you a nice clear image, a lot of times it just goes blurry. Like right now, I
Yeah, yeah.
paused it and it went completely blurry. Get yourself drawn in as a superhero.
Doomed romance. Oh, that's a popular category. A lot of people love their doomed romance.
This one looked neat, this booth. Obviously, I
Yeah,
recognize
yeah.
quite a few characters here.
I think I recognize just about everyone.
I probably do too if I really thought about it. Or 90% of them, anyways.
Yeah, but there's like a really good mix. I see like Mario characters, Ninja Turtles, Archer, My Hero. That guy sells a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Here's another booth with a whole bunch of stuff. Again, I don't know whether you recognize anything. I don't. Yeah, there's one, but especially with pause,
Oh,
maybe.
it's really hard to tell.
We're coming
I think
down
one of the
my.
other reasons like I can stay at a convention all day too is I just like the vibe. Like
Yeah,
the atmosphere of being in a convention.
yeah. Well, I don't mind it. Well, especially when I'm on the table side. But a lot of times I just go to see what's there, buy some stuff, and then leave. I talk with some
Oh
of the
yeah, yeah.
artists and all that or whatever sometimes, but maybe I get a picture with a celebrity if I've got the money and I think it's worth the money that they want. But other than that,
Hmm.
just hanging around there all day doing nothing, not my idea of fun.
I see a Hylian shield from The Legend of Zelda hanging in front of me.
Yeah, this guy had all sorts of swords and knives and all that.
Now, you definitely, though, like if you want to enjoy a convention, you can't go by yourself to run a booth. That I know, right?
Yeah.
Like either that or you're just at your booth all day. Um,
Shit, most of the time, that's me. I'm at my booth all day.
yeah, you got to have at least somebody like, okay, I gotta tag out for 5 minutes to see the show floor.
Yeah. Well,
How
that's
much it cost to set
usually.
up a booth? If I finally manage to ever make any one of my superhero comics, I'm probably gonna have to set up a booth one day.
Oh, it varies greatly depending on the convention you go to. Like it could be anywhere between like $50 to $500 or so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you probably want to start out small at the $50 booths, $50 to $100 booths.
Yeah, because like you're probably not going to make many sales at the large convention with the expensive booth anyway, because nobody knows you and most people aren't checking you out. Like you might make a few people just walking through Artist Alley, but nobody's like going to your booth if they don't know you. If you
Yeah.
go to a small con like this, though, there's not a lot of crowd. People are checking out every single booth, and they
Uh,
might be interested in your thing.
well, this is I'd probably say more medium. This is not a small one.
Oh, well, it looks small from what I'm used to. So
Yeah. Well, this it was. I know it's no San Diego or New York. Yeah. By that comparison, it's probably definitely small.
for what I can tell from your videos and stuff, it looks about roughly the same size as Retropalooza, which is a convention I went to many years, and I usually consider that a smaller con, but I
Yeah.
could see somebody calling it medium.
Yeah. Like I've been to Toronto Comic Con twice, been to Niagara Falls, and I'd say they're definitely big ones. But then I've also been to what I would consider small cons. It's like a room a tenth of this size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I tell you, they don't even call it a full con. I haven't been there, but I've seen like photos from the last one. Matt Reese runs what they call the High Plains Mini Con, where they don't even have like a full space. It's like in a corner of a mall, and everybody sets up like their booths and stuff like that.
Huh.
While like the mall is still running and doing normal stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, the thing is too, you've got to find with this one, any of them, you have to find something that'll draw people's attention to your booth. Even a small one, you have to have find something to draw people to you. I find, I don't know about in the
Yeah.
States, like, you know, I've been at small ones, I've been at some medium ones, because, I'd still consider Hamilton medium or low end of medium, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or very big end of high end of small. And, you know, I thought, when I went to it initially on the table end, oh, everybody would stop by my booth. You're lucky if you can get somebody to even look at your booth.
Yeah. Not unless you've got like some really big eye catcher or something, right? Like,
You know,
and I know
yeah,
for local stuff, you technically do have a big eye catcher, but even having a near life-size standee of the Canadian Shield isn't necessarily going to be the best eye catcher compared to like a lot of other people.
yeah. And the thing is, you're right. A lot of times, people will walk by it even with it, unless I'm saying something about him to get
Yeah.
them to look. You know, they will walk on by. So I would have loved to have him at this past the con on the weekend. Have him and my free stickers and free comic books. Oh wow.
Oh, but he's so big. Like you have to like pay to ship him out ahead of time, basically.
Yeah. Or I'd just have to pay have him as a second whatchamacallit. Um
Luggage.
yeah. And maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not, I don't know. I haven't tried yet.
Yeah, because he definitely seems like he would stand out a bit more at a smaller, maybe medium, whatever you want to call it, con compared to like the bigger ones. Just because like a lot of people have standees at the big ones, but they also have like big poster banners or whatever above their booth, or like they go all out when they can. And it's
Yeah.
but at something like this is like it's less dense. It's a lot easier to see a big standee like that, and people
Yeah.
are kind of scanning all the booths anyway. And
Yeah, and I would have I could have put him beside my table easily and,
yeah,
hey, come take a picture with the life-size Canadian Shield.
as
Yeah,
opposed to like one of those denser commerce cons where it's like he would have had to sit behind the booth, and you'd still be able to see most of him,
yeah,
but there's just
uh,
no room to really have him out,
yeah,
especially with the heavy traffic.
like Niagara Falls Comic Con. I'm planning on bringing him too, but that's probably what I'm gonna have to do. Unfortunately, is have him in behind me at the booth.
Yeah,
You know, but again, it's just something to bring attention to my
yeah. You
booth.
need eye catchers.
You know.
Um,
So that is something I would
also,
definitely suggest thinking about ahead of time too. Well,
also, because it's May the 4th, I wanted to say, I don't think people would have hated Jar Jar if he wasn't in Star Wars. Uh,
Listen, I
Um,
even think a lot of the hate for Jar Jar is overblown.
yeah,
I know.
I like Jar Jar
Yeah.
myself.
It's
I didn't
like a
hate Jar
vocal
Jar.
minority of people that really, really disliked him. But most of
Mm,
the people I knew back then did not really have like a hate boner for Jar Jar at all.
I believe Jar Jar would have been received better if he wasn't in Star Wars, but if he was in Doctor Who, if
I mean, he would have
Yeah,
received well in most sci-fi settings. I think it's just because people There's a group of people that take Star Wars way more seriously than you should take Star Wars. They take it more seriously than George Lucas took Star Wars.
Yeah. Now, this booth isn't set up, but these are the guys beside me that I was telling you about earlier. That for the game.
Yeah.
And of course, there's my booth. Minimum setup, just because, I'm taking all my stuff.
I could tell when we passed by the booth that looks identical to your website.
Of course, I haven't. Of course, I haven't seen anything Star Wars for the past. I believe I believe 8 years. So I don't know.
Oh, I just kind of stopped caring about it when it was no longer Lucas's project. I tried a little bit with Disney, but it's like I like the fact that it was a dude's vision, even when there was extended stuff, because a lot of the extended universe was great. But I don't really care now that it's not.
Yeah.
But speaking of looking like his website, for like the nobody who's in chat, make sure that you stop by and visit crosscomics.ca. It definitely needs more traffic.
Yeah, I got to do more stuff to put traffic to it. And this lady next to me is an author. She's got a whole bunch of books and have a toy or a statue type place next door across the way.
Oh, like figures and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, anime figures and all that. Dungeons
Figures are a hot market.
Yeah. Somebody with jewelry. I had people selling D&D dice and all that. Again, somebody with...
Yeah, I think the person was also selling tea over at the D&D place.
Yeah. They had their own brewed tea. I didn't go over and taste. I don't know what this one is supposed to be. Didn't see anybody manning this one.
It looks like a country store.
I think it's just a booth, that PopCon put up themselves just to fill space.
Oh, okay.
Another gaming place, it looks like. They're like specialty gaming, like for their game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a chasing.
If you have like a board game or tabletop game, medium to small size conventions are a great place to start getting interest in it.
Hey Tim, how are you? Well, we're just going through a little. I was doing some stuff on my JoJo character, but right now we're just going through my video of my walkthrough for Saskatoon Comic-Con. Yes, I did.
He wants to know if you had fun.
Yeah, I think a pretty good contact. Got made just over $200 worth of sales.
Did you give away any business cards?
Oh, I gave away a ton of business cards.
I have to bother you about this every time. If people don't know the lore, what was it? 800? I think that you bought at one point in time.
8,000.
It was 8,000. Crazy.
Hey,
I remembered there being a bunch of zeros behind it. I couldn't remember the exact number.
Yeah. Hey, it was for. Hey, I got them all for less than $100 with shipping.
Yeah, I know. But like everybody was teasing Rick about the absurd number of business cards that he bought all at once for quite a long time. So for something like this, I do have to ask if he gave away some business cards.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I gave probably quite a few business cards away. I gave a shitload of stickers away.
Yeah.
The stickers, I get them printed at my library now. They cost me like a cent and a half each.
Oh, nice. Yeah, dude, if I had a place I could just print like that, I'd be giving stickers away out the wazoo.
Yeah, like they're only like about an inch by an inch or something like that. I printed just before I went away. I went and printed up 600 stickers, 100 of 6 different things. Right, $8.
Yeah.
No, not 800, 8,000. Timothy.
Yeah, we were off by an order of magnitude.
So, like, but and that was a little bit a lot my mistake, because like I had asked, and this was from my first con that I did this. I asked the people how many people were going to be there, and they said 10,000. And foolish, naive me thought that I'd be able to give away one to, you know, 8,000 of those people coming through. Nope, not even close.
Yeah, like, what, 50 people out of 10,000 might stop at a booth like that?
Yeah. And this was even before I was selling, I think before I was even selling Canadian Shield comics. I think I was just selling
Oh,
art.
yeah, you were
Original,
jumping the gun a lot right there.
yeah. Like, it was naive. I admit it. It was it was my first con. But the thing is, I now
Yeah.
have all those cards, and it only cost me like $100. So yeah, it's in a lot of ways. You're right. A lot of people are right. It was foolish, but at the same time, it was under $100.
Yeah.
So
I need to make some business cards for X Dynamis Chaos. That would totally be a smart thing to do.
yes, 8,000, Tim. I got them from some site off the web for like I said, less than $100.
Yeah, business
So
cards are pretty cheap. Like I think I spent, and most of it was like shipping, maybe 20, not even a full 20, maybe like $17 for 100 business cards at Vistaprint. And I know you can get them way cheaper than that, but
yeah,
that's like on the higher end of things. So it's like business cards are a pretty good thing to invest into. Um, I remember I was kind of defending you a little bit at the time just because everybody was jumping on your back. I'll like, well, it's not the worst investment if the information on the business card is not changing anytime soon, right?
yeah,
Like if all it had was logos that are going to stay the same, your website, which is not changing its domain or anything. Like if it has
yeah,
information that's not changing anytime soon, then you can write off the same business cards forever.
yeah,
For personal business, it's pretty bad to print that much out unless you're like a really, really big business because you don't know
yeah,
when your information's going to change. Like your phone number could change or something. But
yeah.
for something like that, especially a website, it's fine.
Yeah, my this business card, well, you can't see it at the moment. It had my name on it, obviously. It had my logo, which has
Mm-hmm.
changed a little bit. It's a little bit better looking. Of course, it has my website. It has my email address. And it says look for Cross Comics on Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, Instagram, and Twitter. All still which are relevant. Although Twitter's now called X to a lot of people.
Yeah, but you know what? The vast majority of people still call it Twitter.
Yeah.
Because X is a bad name.
Yeah,
It's
well,
just
I
a
wouldn't say it's
letter.
a bad name. It's a worse
It's a
name.
it's a single letter. That's all it is.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
people
but
gonna know you're
okay,
talking about?
there can definitely be branding around it if you build it up. The problem, though, is it's not as good of a name as Twitter, I think is the bigger issue. Because Twitter and its tweets kind of says everything it needs to say about the site in the name alone, right? Like, what's the buzz? What's the Twitter? Um, as X doesn't actually really say anything about the site, so you have to build up the branding
I
around it.
know. Like, what's
Yeah.
X? What's the X even mean? It's just a letter.
Now, it's great for SEO though, or even getting to the site. Like, I do like the fact that all I have to do is type the letter X in my browser, and the autocomplete just brings it up for me. I don't even have to like type in the whole URL.
Like imagine if you have a company named B, and what does that mean?
It could mean all kinds of things. You just have to build the branding around it.
Well, maybe you're selling something to do with bees, honey.
There are all kinds of things it could be. Now, I know the big problem is Elon Musk had always wanted a site of his own or a place called X. He originally wanted PayPal to be called X back when he was working on that. The prototype was, and he was like, turned down by the rest of the team. They're like, no, this is not a good name for our payment processor. Which turns out, though, if he ever finishes the payment processor he's working on for X, then he will finally have a payment processor that's named X. So long-term goals, right? But he definitely really likes the letter, right? He put in space X, has it in there too. It's something that's been like personal to his brand for a really long time. I don't, like I said, I don't think it is a bad name. X has like mystique to it. It's got
Yeah, X is known.
attention. You could name like a club X, and people would like it, right?
Yeah,
X marks the spot. This is where you should be.
yeah,
This is where what you're looking for is. But it's not as good of a branding as Twitter. Twitter was
yeah,
just a better brand for what it was.
yeah.
I,
Also,
I, I don't,
also X, like X variables, right? A lot of people,
Yeah.
So there
X
is.
is a very flexible brand that, like,
Yeah.
if I had a nightclub, I might name it X, right? And in some ways, people might want to see Twitter as like the online equivalent of the nightclub. This is where you can go and meet people, and it's a little looser than other places. But Twitter's still just a better brand.
Yeah. Tim says, although a twit is an insult, so Twitter sounds like they are putting us down.
Mhm.
uh, let's see a little bit more of this video here. So, more games or whatever. They're unpacking here, this one. Flawless victory. I think it's something to do with gaming. Yeah. Games. Retro games.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Typically, a flawless victory, especially in like a fighting game or whatever, is when you beat your opponent and you don't get hit once yourself.
Yeah, and here this person's got some backpacks and things. At this point, because the aisles are so wide, I'm going down up one side and down the other.
Yeah.
Zooming on some nice looking backpacks, unique ones. And this is where I
Everyone
decided.
needs a backpack. Especially at a place like this. You go to a convention and you don't have a backpack, you're like, what are you even doing? Right? You're just going to walk around with whatever you buy juggling in your hands the entire time. Like, I can't hold all of these trophies situation.
Well, it depends on what you
No,
get. There's a lot of people that do that.
Yeah.
well, what's that? Well, I forgot the name. What's that? Tower defense FPS game? I forgot. It was
Tower
made back
defense
in.
FPS game. I'm trying to.
Yeah, it had two games in the series. I forgot. It was made by the same studio that did Goat Simulator.
I don't know.
Yeah. Here's somebody selling some
But
dresses.
but
Kaylee Pop Art Studio.
because
Look,
but do we know any?
Coffee Stain Studios.
Mm,
This is the sword place that you saw the other side with the
Coffee
shield.
Stain Studios. Okay, what like?
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm looking. That's your Satisfactory, guys. Was it Sanctum? Was that a FPS?
Sanctum, yeah, Sanctum.
Okay, I've never
Yeah,
played
Sanctum, that's the one.
it,
No,
so I
I
didn't
did
know.
not.
But okay, but are there any games similar to that? Just look up the game. Let's look at the gameplay of Sanctum.
Oh, I don't know actually. There is a third-person kind of tower defense game that I used to play back in the day called Dungeon Defenders, but I don't know if there's any other stuff like Sanctum out there. There might be, but not to my knowledge.
And
Why is
no,
that
I
so
did.
rare?
Such a
Why?
weird
Who
question.
knows?
Why is anything rare?
And no, I did not try them, Tim. So here's some more. Here's a toy place. I think it's toys and a whole bunch of toys. Shaggy there, Rainbow Bright, Shazam, Captain Marvel, my pet monster, a monster of a friend.
There's a really good reason that guy's in chains.
I remember that cartoon. Well, it was probably before your time, eh?
I've seen a rerun or two, but not a lot.
I heard there's a really bad movie based off that toy, but
Could be.
If there is, I've never seen it.
And Popples. Some legends, Marvel Legends. There's Wolverine.
I think the Legends line is pretty good. I've held a few of them like out of box in my hands. I think they're crafted really well, and they typically are targeting characters and versions of them that people actually want.
Another sword and knife place, although they don't have their swords and knives all out. Hey, Alpha. Alpha says Rick Piper flew to Saskatoon, a comic con full of cartoon with cross comics stacked high and proud. He charmed the whole convention crowd. I wish. He sold some books
He's
and he
trying to be a poet here.
He cracked some jokes. He met wild cosplaying folks. He grabbed a poutine, a gooey sight, and he called it dinner and delight. He left with laughs, a moose named Pip, and a perfect Saskatoon style trip. Here's I was thinking of having this person on, but they're 15, so I'm not sure whether would be a good idea. But she got some stickers from my booth for free and ended up starting to trade them around the con, and she ended up with like a dagger and a fake sword and these glass cups. You ended up with a whole bunch of stuff, all from free stickers that I gave her.
Wow. You should hire that person as your marketer because clearly they know the worth of your stuff more than you do.
Yeah, well, they traded it for another sticker with somebody's signature.
Oh, yeah. This is how networking in business is, right? Like, we've all played the games where it's like you have to find everything that the different person wants. So you have to go through the whole chain until you find like the first thing that one NPC wants. So then you can get the thing from them to go through the rest of the chain until you finally get the item you want. That's what they did in real life. They played the game.
Yeah, Alpha says, I've seen a kid do that before. Someone who traded up at a video game con. But, like, she gave me a little one of the trinkets that she got, It's just a small pin. I'll show that off. But, I wanted to have her on and tell about her experience. I'm just doing that because, especially since, it was my sticker she started with. I'm just not sure whether it's a good idea. Especially with her being like 15.
Yeah, especially these days, YouTube has a lot of restrictions about like having like minors in video and stuff. Though typically it's fine if they acknowledge it and if their like parents are cool with it, but I don't know if you even got permission from the parents.
No. As far as I could tell, she was at the con by herself. But like
Yeah,
I would, the only way that the only way I'd be bringing her on is like maybe through Discord, and not showing her face, just her voice is seen. That's it, or heard. You know what I mean? But I thought that was fascinating. From some free stickers that I gave out to her, and then gave out to so many other people at the con.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of a Flash game I used to play on Newgrounds way back in the day. Somebody made called the Legend of Zelda and the Lampshade of No Real Significance,
Yeah.
where you had to go through this whole town that had a bunch of mix between the employees at Newgrounds and Nintendo characters, and it was just about like uh, Snake needs a new gun or something, but Kirby's got the flash gun, but Kirby won't give it to you unless you get him a hamburger from the McDonald's, but you can't get a hamburger from the McDonald's until you get them some meat. So you have to go and get the dead body to give them to make the meat at the McDonald's. And it's like this whole
So it's a
process of
non-stop fetch quest.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of working backwards so that you can actually find the starting thing to start working forward.
Tim says he exclaimed as the bus drove out of sight, "Merry Saskatoon Con for all, and all a good week." And then Alpha says you would need her mom or dad with her. Yeah, which I'd have no problem with. And then Alpha also says, but like I said, there's a thing where you start with one thing and trade up and see what you end up with. Yeah. Yeah, she like got 4 free stickers from me and traded up really well. It was just crazy, in my opinion. She came by a few times
Yeah.
at my booth, to show what she had traded up to. She was there 2 days, both days. So,
You start off with a banana, and somehow by the end of lunch, you end up with an entire Lunchable.
okay. Oh, Alpha's linking a thing, video probably doing exactly what I'm showing. I said to her she should have recorded it, showed her doing that. Okay, let's go through.
At Retropalooza 4. I love Retropalooza. It's a great con.
Yeah, and Tim was there just recently, I believe. Here's some more stuff at the con. You see Charizard, I believe, plushie or whatever in the background. Bunch of different toys.
I think I might have actually been specifically at Retropalooza 4, the Arlington wing of it, because it runs at multiple places. Because I think Retropalooza 4 made their badges look like the cover for Super Castlevania 4.
There's another 3D printed stuff.
And I have that badge.
Last Retropalooza, the last Retropalooza is this month. Tim says Alpha. Tim says no. I am going to Retro X in June. Bah. And Alpha says from now on they will only have Retropalooza Houston. I thought you went to some Retropalooza, Tim.
Retro X is in Idaho Falls.
Oh.
That's what he's talking about.
Oh.
Alpha man. So yeah, they're not doing the multiple things. They're only doing it in the main location in Houston. I mean, that's not bad though. The Houston one's pretty good. I liked not having to go all the way down. I liked having a local one. Not that I'm there anyway. Like I'm in Arizona now, but the reason I used to go to Retropalooza was because it was right in my backyard.
Alpha says, I'm trying to make a cosplay for the last one. I really don't want to go to Houston. Do the flame. The flame is easy. You get a leather jacket with some, put some flames on it around the edge, some, and the sleeves, and, some green pants, a green shirt, have his emblem on the shirt, green ball cap, and some dark sunglasses.
I should have cosplayed when the last time I went to Retropalooza. I just didn't feel like it. And I think there's actually some people there that we didn't recognize each other because neither of us were in cosplay, sadly. And we probably would have talked if we did. Typically, especially for something like Retropalooza, I probably would have just showed up as Captain N.
Yeah.
Which is like the most fitting character you can have at a retro event.
Tim says, I went to Captain Comics in Boise this month. No, I'm not talking this month or last month. I'm talking like a few months ago. Sometime within the last year and a half. Didn't you go to a Retropalooza?
I mean, maybe there could be multiple cons with the same name, but Retropalooza is kind of like a Texas thing. And I'm not saying Tim couldn't have flown down to Texas for a con, but it doesn't seem very likely.
He says, no, I'm trying to make a slash from TMDT. Well, slash that idea. Do a flame. Fire it up. Oh, he says it was Authorpalooza. Okay. I knew it was a palooza. Okay, let's see whether we can get through some more of this. See if there's anything.
Middleton, Idaho is where it was.
Here's another jewelry person with, like.
Probably the only thing to ever be in Middleton, Idaho.
Like, if you look, I pause it and it blurs, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
None of this jewelry has anything to do with comics.
Somebody's just making jewelry out of bullets.
Yeah, they're actually selling the bullets to do it too.
Yeah.
The
I mean, I've
police.
seen people have bullet jewelry before. I've never seen it sold at a con.
Neither had I. And of course, there's a booth I did not visit.
Yeah, yeah. You just keep going past the pride stuff.
By the way, unless silhouette game, you might thought I looked up Marv. I didn't have to look up for Marv because I already knew Marv was. I read Sin City, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's why he wasn't in the hard. I don't think I put him in the hard stuff. I figured people might know who he is. That's
yeah,
why.
I mean, Sin City is a movie that a lot of people have seen, so they
Yeah.
probably just even if they did an okay enough job in the movie making him look like the comic character, you'd probably be able to guess the silhouette just from that too.
Yeah, another
I know.
sword place.
I was surprised when I first saw the movie. I was surprised that Elijah Wood was Kevin the cannibal.
Yeah, they did a pretty
But
good
I was
job
surprised.
of making quite a few of the shots in the movie like exactly like the panels were in the comics for certain parts. A lot of dedication there.
Now,
Like,
although
I was shocked.
Go ahead.
I was shocked how well Elijah Wood did as Kevin the Cannibal because like him of all people was playing as Kevin the Cannibal.
Now, although cups aren't really whatchamacallit, cartoon stuff, but he has like the symbols of various things on these.
Mm-hmm.
So those will give a pass. Some D&D dice or would.
Family used to collect. You remember when Welch's used to have like the small glass jars that would have like different runs of things on them, like peanuts or NASCAR or whatever. My family used to collect all of those for the stuff that we liked, and we would use them as like glasses.
I got some nice art here. Some more jewelry. A gaming center.
Oh, nice.
I think it might have been for some independent games.
Oh yeah, this is usually the section where I end up spending the most time. Not even because like I'm playing the game or whatever, but I used to at cons think a couple of them are still on my channel, interview the creators of the games about their games and stuff.
Cool.
There should. I wish there was a better way to find indie games on online because to find different indie games online. Because the main thing I'm looking for when it comes to games is gameplay gimmicks rather than graphics.
Well, probably the
So
best place to look for that sort of stuff, Steam. I think there's lots of independent games there.
Yeah, but the problem with Steam is too big. You're
Yeah.
shuffling through noise, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I
For
agree.
me, most of them come to me, just because of the way I engage on the internet. Like, I get indie games in my Twitter algorithm all the time, just like left and right. Um, but like, you have to engage with the internet that way. Typically, you have to go to chat rooms and forums and stuff dedicated to that stuff to see it if your algorithms aren't throwing it at you.
There's a Joker action figure at this comic book
well, wait, have
place.
you played any SWAT games? No,
The what?
SWAT, SWAT, Special Weapons and
I
Tactics.
have not.
The
Oh,
old SWAT
I
games.
know of them. I have not played.
You mean the ones
oh,
from the early thousands? I think it is.
yeah, yes.
I believe I played them,
Oh,
but I don't remember much of them. I just remember the name and playing it.
okay. Um, but because in terms of shooters, I'm more interested in those type of shooters rather than Call of Duty or something like that. So, how good are Counter Strike games?
Oh, Counter Strike. Those are really good, especially if you're looking for like an extraction shooter. Um, CS:GO is probably the top of the market, not just in popularity, but also in how the game is made functionally.
No, yeah, like how much strategy is there in Counter Strike?
A lot, like a ton, including like setting up claymores in strategic spots and knowing when to take down a door or whatever. There's a lot of strategy in Counter Strike.
Hmm.
Okay, sounds perfect shooter for me.
Alpha says that I say early thousands, and he says turn of the century.
Oh, I'll even often say turn of the millennia, um, or aughts. I don't like thousands. It's too much of a mouthful, so I'll just say aughts instead.
Now this plate one was pretty good. They had a lot of carvings of Pokemon and stuff like that. Ooh, aughts. Gross. Says Alpha.
No, aughts is great. Doesn't know what he's missing out on. It's like a whole world is opened in your life when you start saying aughts.
Another author.
Those Pokeballs kind of look like fishing lures, like bobbers. They look not lures. They look like bobbers. That's what the word I'm looking for.
Somebody who has
Oh,
yet
the
to
best
arrive.
booth. The best booth, the blank booth. You can imagine whatever you want in that booth.
I have no idea what's in that booth. Sweet cuts.
Maybe somebody's giving haircuts at the convention. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like as I was saying earlier, I don't usually end up like going away from my booth for too long once the con is on because That doesn't sound good. But just because, like I'm the guy that knows most of the stuff about my comics, and no matter who my help is, even when it was my mom, you know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
it wasn't. I didn't like to leave it long because, you know, I'm the, I know I'm the owner, the creator. Nobody knows that. Like they want to know stuff about cross comics or the characters. It's me that they've got to ask. Unfortunately, I don't have too many people like that yet.
Yeah, yeah. What you need to do is you need to take some of the profile pages from your like slides or whatever. You need to print them out and then put them in binder sleeves, so you can actually just have a binder there for people to flip through to answer questions if you're not there.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah,
But I got to go over those first with you.
yeah.
So, correct.
And make sure they're like also correct. Yeah, yeah. Hey, we updated one recently. Not to actually say what it was or spoil anything for the chat, but I made you make a decision recently that will affect quite a few different things. So
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, small but big.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it's not going to change the fate of the world or anything, but it is very impactful to a specific character.
Yeah. Here's one that you never thought you'd see at a. Did I go back too far, or did I go ahead? I didn't think. Oh yeah, here's it coming up. Yeah. 3D printed stuff. Bodacious uh, bus lines, bras and
Oh.
lingerie.
No, no, I expect to see that. Unfortunately, I expect to see that at convention, mostly just because of how much overlap that has with cosplayers. And a lot of conventions, maybe not always stuff like this size, but a lot of conventions have been almost completely overtaken by cosplay. Like it is more of the industry now than most of other stuff.
Yeah.
It's cosplay and figures. That's like the entire industry.
Yeah, this is the
All the
first time
tourists have come in.
I've ever seen something like that. What? Another one was
And it's like everything too. Oh, I saw Jack Skellington. Oh, and a Snorlax. I think it's My Melody. It's a stuffy place, I
yeah, it looked
guess. You
like
know, like
that.
plushies and everything. Like you go to a Ren fair and it's the same thing too, right? Like everybody, because it's similar. Everybody's dressed up for the Ren fair, but then
Yeah,
like all of a sudden there's like a lingerie stand at the Ren fair. I'm like, why? Why is there a lingerie stand at the Ren fair? They didn't have lingerie back in the Renaissance.
Pokemon cards, and more cards. Now we
Ooh,
have
crane
a
machine.
Bolt Sasktel. Like we need a mobile people at thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, if commerce is happening, they're gonna use the excuse to try to sell stuff. You know, like. The thing is, though, they stand out more like a sore thumb when you're at a convention this spacious, right? Like you don't notice them when you're at like a denser Comic Con or something like that. They're just kind
Oh,
of there, stuck in between everything.
this booth here, everything
Hmm.
is made into a duck.
Ah, okay, yeah. I know people who collect like ducks.
Like You got Batman as a duck and all that here.
Joker
Superman
duck,
as a.
Isn't
Flash
that just
duck.
Dark? Is that just Darkwing Duck when you think about it?
No, because these are like rubber duckies. But yes, Darkwing Duck is kind of supposed to be Batman as a duck. This is just in the other direction.
You know, they got Minecraft, Mario.
Oh, I think I saw what's that name of that game? Scribble Knots. I saw a Scribble Knots duck.
Lots of ducks. Ducks, and more ducks. Darkwing is a shadow. Minion ducks.
Yeah, I mean he is definitely supposed to be designed more of the shadow, but Batman is also the shadow, so they still kind of
I
follow the
know,
same
I know.
category.
I mean, the Batman's first
Well,
story is just a shadow story.
yeah, and Darkwing's villains for the most part are more
Or
akin to
Batman parody.
Batman villains than like say the Shadow. Even though some early Batman villains are basically Shadow villains, more or less. Um, in the early days, there's really no separating them because of how much Batman was ripping off the Shadow. But yeah, in design, absolutely, Darkwing's design is supposed to be more of the Shadow.
Yeah, yeah, like because Darkwing Duck's villain, he has like a grass guy, so it's like Poison Ivy. And he
Yeah.
has yeah, like y'all
Yeah,
Batman parodies.
well, also some Spider-Man because the electric one, Electro from Spider-Man. I forget what his name is.
Yeah, but there's plenty of stuff like that in DC as well.
Oh yeah, there is,
I
but
know.
as a I'm just more meaning he's more. I would think for electric villain, I think more of Electro than
Electro.
from Marvel than anything from DC. Not saying that there isn't. I'm just saying what would come to mind first, especially around the time he was first introduced.
Mm.
Darkwing Duck, that is.
I would. The thing that keeps him a little closer to the Shadow than falling further into Batman, though, is while he does have like a sidekick, his sidekicks are more akin to the type of agents in personality that the Shadow would have. Like having a personal valet, like a Launchpad, is more akin to something the Shadow would have than, say, Bruce. Because Bruce's valet is just his butler, and he doesn't get involved in anything. He never drives him places or anything like that. While, like, the Shadow will have, like, specific agents for different things. And even what was her name? Was it Gwendolyn? I think was the little girl, right? She is still more like she's actually more like a Penny Gadget than she is like a Robin, which I think probably still also falls more into the Shadow line of things and into the Batman.
Exactly.
Here's another one that really, in my
Goslin,
opinion,
that was it. What am I thinking of Gwen? I was thinking, where's Gwen from? I know there's a duck
Spider-Man.
named Gwen. I'm probably no, a different Gwen. There's a duck named Gwen. One of them. I'm mistaking Goslin for a different one. But yes, Goslin. Thank you.
Knit It plushies. That I can see being there.
Yeah,
Knit It plushies.
yeah, they all have duck-based names. Yeah, because like Mallard is Darkwing's name. I think it's his last name. Launchpad McQuack.
We
Drake
take
Mallard. Yeah, I can never remember his first name. I always remember the Mallard part. I can never remember the Drake.
dolls, coffins. I should have got over here when my cousin was here to take care of his.
Launchpad has one of my favorite lines I think any sidekick type character has said, though I think he said that in DuckTales. Maybe he said it to Drake at some point, but it's the whole, if it's got wings, I can crash it. I love Launchpad. He's such a good character.
More comics. You got a booth with actual comics at I'd say a Comic Con, but technically it's a pop culture con.
Yeah.
Go around. These guys are doing edgings on things. And then he actually said, there he says, we're doing
I
a
know
lot.
hadn't covered anything yet. So
Yeah, live engraving on stuff they were saying
Oh, okay. So in
there.
person, like engraving it in front of you.
Yeah. Or, or you give them the image or whatever, and, you go away for half an hour or whatever, and they come back and they done. They
I wanna
probably would.
watch.
I want to ask Metal. How do you feel about Metal Gear Solid 5 in comparison to all the previous games?
Oh, it wasn't my thing. There was a lot about it that I just didn't care about. First off, I didn't like the fact that they recast uh, David Hayter in favor of Keith Sutherland. Even though I know technically he's a different person, he's not actually Big Boss. There's all things about it to where, but like the thing is, if you were still trying to make him kind of be Big Boss, you should have done some type of vocal surgery to make him sound like him too. So David Hayter still should have voiced the guy. But I didn't really care too much about the whole like turning it into a sandbox game and all of the
Yeah,
all like
because from a
multiplayer
conceptual
stuff.
standpoint, seems more similar to the Middle Earth games than the previous Metal
It was a
Gears.
prototype for Death Stranding, basically. Before he went solo and made Death Stranding, he was already trying to make a game like that. He was just using Metal Gear for it.
Another
And I don't like Death Stranding, so it's not really my thing. What are you trying to say, Rick?
another sword place. And they got
You
Captain
can't never have
America.
too many swords.
True. And they got Captain America's shield.
I mean, it makes sense though. I like people associate swords and shields together. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
pretty good fighting stance. So you need a shield. I don't think
Yeah.
Captain America's shield would be the best shape of one for fighting with a sword. That'd be better for like a polearm, so you could keep the round shield up the whole time and just kind of like poke at people. But like a spear or anything, but it's better to have a shield than no shield.
Somebody else with a comic. I never really got to talk to them.
Shield and pokey stick is the best battlefield fighting style, though. Like, it's hard to beat shield and pokey stick.
Shield and Pokey Stick. Hats.
Mm. Everyone needs a hat.
Oh, this is I believe this is the artist that well, his art. Anyways, I never ended up talking to him, but here I did. I talked to him later, the next day.
But not in the video.
Yeah. I recognized his name, the August.
Hmm. Seems like some pretty nice art.
Yeah.
Some Twilight Princess style Link and Zelda.
I should I should go back there. I wanna.
Are you watching this through YouTube?
Yeah.
Well, Rick, you know there are keyboard shortcuts for navigating on YouTube, right? Like the arrows will move 5 seconds each direction, but also, you know, the keys that have your less than and greater than sides, your comma and period key, will also move frame by frame in the directions that
Mm.
the arrows are pointing.
Probably
So like,
didn't.
you know, if it's blurry and you're like, oh man, this is a bad frame, you can literally just hit like the period key to move to the next frame until you find one that's not blurry.
Oh, the period key.
Yeah, period and comma go forward and backward, frame by frame. And then if you want to jump further, like 5 seconds, the arrow keys on your keyboard will move 5 seconds at a time. A lot of people don't know these keyboard shortcuts exist. They do.
I just wanted to
Um,
write down the time frame that I had his stuff to when I messaged him say,
Oh,
"Hey,
okay.
did your video? There's a little bit of your booth in my video." Some hero click stuff.
Somebody dressed as Giovanni from Pokemon.
Somebody dressed as Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Oh, I saw Jolene Cujo. Not a person, a drawing.
No. I probably should have stopped a little bit more often and scanned in, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to get stopped and talking to anybody.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Then you end up there forever.
Especially with my initial walk around. But sometimes it's nice to stop and talk to somebody too, get a little bit of that sort of stuff in these videos. Whole bunch of Lego stuff here. Pops and t-shirts.
I like how this is supposed to be a drawing stream, but because I was interested in your con experiences, it's kind of just become a full stream.
Yeah.
he isn't even coloring anything. That's how I pointed
Yeah.
out. Yeah, I even I pointed out like can at least color something like that.
He
Something else.
started. He had it up. It's behind all of this.
Some nice Transformer Lego stuff and then other stuff. Yeah, we're almost done this, although I got like 15 minutes left of my video normal stream.
Yeah, 15 minutes of coloring. And so I gotta rename the stream.
I started with manga, I'll end with manga.
Yeah. Yeah, Rick, I just asked you about your experience. We didn't have to go through the whole video.
I know.
In fact, you could have talked about it while coloring. That was entirely an option the whole time.
True. And actually, I wasn't really coloring either. I was going over my line art, trying
Yeah,
to
yeah,
make
you're
it,
like re-inking.
trying to, because not really happy with the hands I got there, and I'm not really happy with the face either.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I would definitely agree with both of those opinions.
so I just wanted to start it over. Although most of it seems good, but
This is the ninth JoJo in the franchise. Jodio Joestar, who I actually have not read his story yet. I kind of stalled at the very beginning of JoJo Leon and have not gotten into JoJo Lands at all. I need to finish it. I really enjoy JoJo's. It's just I think I ended up starting it around one of the times I moved, and I just never hopped back into it. There's a lot of times where you start things, but then you move, and it completely throws off your pace on it, and you never go back to it. And it's like, I need to. I need to. But I've read every JoJo's up to like
uh,
volume 2 of JoJo Leon.
yeah. I think I read, or watched, I should say, the
Phantom Blood, at
first and
least.
first and second. I think I was in the middle
Oh, and
watching the
Battle
third.
Tendency, because Phantom Blood and Battle Tendency were adapted into a single season.
No.
That would be the one that had Jonathan Joestar, and then it went to Joseph Joestar after that. And it was the
Yeah.
ones that mostly involved like the vampires and the Pillar Men.
Yeah, I might have gotten into the third. Well, I'm talking
Stardust
seasons.
Crusaders.
Yeah.
Yes, season 2 is the third JoJo. That's Stardust Crusaders. It's the most popular one. Everybody loves Stardust. It's not my favorite, though I do love Stardust. But that's the one that is more like a, I guess, fantasy RPG sort of. That's probably why a lot of people
I'm
like it.
back.
It's very globetrotter with a party of people, and that's the one that introduced the stands. And it has old man Joseph, and the actual main JoJo is Jotaro. Jotaro Kujo.
No, I talk about JoJo.
Yeah, yeah, well, because he's currently going over Jodio Joestar, who's like the
Okay.
ninth JoJo.
Okay, I don't know what number of JoJo was that. What that was. So,
Yeah, yeah.
Metal
what
just
number of
said
JoJo?
it.
I don't know.
Number
He's the
9.
ninth JoJo. Yeah, out of all
Oh,
the JoJos. Yeah. It's from JoJo Lands, is the name of part 9. Which is pretty easy to get into, because realistically, you do not need to read from the beginning to get into JoJo Lands. You don't really need to read most of the series to get any of the individual parts, even if it contains something from before. But there was kind of like a reset to the world at the end of part 6, Stone Ocean. So there's like a new continuity and everything that goes from Steel Ball Run and on. So if you wanted to jump in and just get like the context of everything for JoJo Land, you only have to read 2 parts before that. Steel Ball Run and JoJo Leon. It's
Yeah,
pretty
but
easy
yeah,
to
the
get
thing
into.
about JoJo's, the only thing connecting the parts is this stands, except for the first two parts, which is
Well,
connected
the
by
thing that's
vampire.
connecting the parts is the family lineage. The
Family
JoJo's. Like
lineage.
that's people need to understand that's
Mm,
what the story is really about. Is about the JoJo's, like the Joestar family
mm.
line.
Yeah,
Even Steel Ball
Joestar
Run.
family.
Steel Ball Run, I like. I like a lot about it because I was starting to get tired of stands being like the only thing, right? Hamon kind of got
Mm.
worked out of the world at the end of Stardust Crusaders because Joseph was like the last Hamon user, and Dio with his time stop basically made Hamon useless because like I could just attack you when you can't attack me. Um, but Steel Ball Run, which is amazing if you want something that's like a Western action flick, but in comic form, is, a horse race across the country. It's a run. And it has a little bit of everything, right? There's actually they kind of somewhat bring Hamon back a little bit, but they've got the spin. That's like the new thing that's introduced into it, um, which is kind of almost like a pseudo replacement of Hamon, and that's what Jairus Zappelli uses, and what Johnny Joestar wants, so he could try to like sort of walk again to a degree. But it also has stands, and they also have a bunch of people who have different powers. And the president is trying to find the corpse of Jesus Christ, who is canonically a JoJo. Uh,
What?
well, it makes sense because, like, if you were to translate Jesus' name, his name would be Joshua
Joe.
ben Joseph. So he is a JoJo.
No.
But Steel Ball Run is probably one of the craziest things you could read in your entire life. I think it's totally worth it. Even if you don't end up liking it, I think it's worth reading just because it's one of the craziest things you'll read in your life.
Okay.
And if you
Oh.
really want to know if you want to get into or not, like the perfect sample is on Netflix. They recently did a 45-minute episode. They did the first episode ahead of the rest of the season. That basically takes, I think, the entire first volume and puts it into a single episode. So like you get a good sampling of what you can expect from it. And if it's not your thing, you don't have to jump in and read it. If it is though, you'll know. You'll feel it quickly. Like you won't even have to ask. But even though it's a horse run, it's crazy in the way that like Cannonball Run is crazy.
Ha. Which I've seen.
Yeah, Rick, you know Cannonball Run.
Yeah, and there was a second one too.
Yeah, it's not as good as the first, but it's still very watchable.
Yeah. I watched Cannonball Run as a kid.
I did too, but because my dad really liked it, so he showed it to me as a kid.
Yeah, well, same with my mom. She was a bit into Burt Reynolds as an actor.
Yeah, well, who wasn't?
Yeah, they didn't see a lot of his movies.
Ah, Burt Reynolds is great. Rest in peace.
Oh.
But yeah, so imagine that type of wackiness, right? That type of just over the top nonsense, but in horse race form during like the just after the Western expansion, right? Like the transcontinental railroad's already made, right? And people have superpowers.
Okay.
That's Steel Ball Run.
Sounds interesting.
We mean Steel Ball Run reset the continuity. What was that? So time
Oh no,
travel
Steel
involved,
Ball
or
Run didn't reset the continuity. Stone Ocean did at the end. Like at the very, I guess this is a spoiler, but if you want to jump into Steel Ball Run and not care, um, at the very end of Stone Ocean, there, I think, was it called? I'm trying to remember the name of the stand. It wasn't Over Heaven, was it? That might be from the game. But there was a stand that was actually like resetting or like fast forwarding time, and it was going to basically bring all of the universe to the end of the universe so that it could basically cycle back through the universe again. And the guy was gonna, he had like a utopian idea of how the universe was going to be, and they had to stop him. And
okay?
in the middle of the
So
universal
what?
reset,
So
hmm?
yeah. Okay, so you reset the universe, Scott. You don't no need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
know no
yeah.
more.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because they did stop him from getting his utopia, but they put the universe back into the motion the way like a universe should be. So there's a similar but different continuity to everything now. And in Steel Ball Run, it goes backwards to about the same time that the first JoJo takes place, but instead of following a Jonathan Joestar in England hunting vampires. It follows a Johnny Joestar in I think they start in San Diego, but somewhere in like California on the coast. Um, and he's entering a horse race because he used to be a like a horse rider, racer slash equestrian. He did like all the horse stuff until an accident, or it wasn't an accident. Somebody basically mugged him because he was getting in the way of something, and he's like, I'm gonna um, take my vengeance out on you or whatever. And they crippled him, so he couldn't do horse stuff anymore. And he's trying to find a way to basically race horses again. And this crippled guy ends up in the horse race, uh, basically out of sheer determination to be able to learn the power of the spin, while also getting like wrapped up in all of these other people, like inhuman people or people that might have some type of inhuman ability, and this conspiracy to find like the corpse of Jesus Christ, which is scattered across America for some reason. It is
Why?
just a very, very crazy story.
Uh,
Yeah.
North America and not the Middle East. I don't get it.
The way I'm explaining it, you're not supposed to get it, right? The
Mm,
series explains their reasoning behind everything, but you have to know it's completely insane going into it.
yeah.
Definitely sounds it.
Yeah, because they don't even know it's Jesus Christ at first. They're looking for the corpse of a saint, is what they're told, and then they find out like, well, it's not just any saint or anything. It's the Son of God.
Like,
And like the
Yeah.
president of the United States, I think is the bad guy. It's been a while since I've read it. I read it back when it was newer, which has been a bit, but he's heavily involved. I don't remember if he's like the main bad guy, but he's definitely an antagonistic force in it.
Okay, so almost everything's redrawn here except for the two parts.
You know, the two parts that were particularly the reason why you were redrawing it.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do those on a separate layer than the main stuff. But we've only got like about 2 minutes too, as well. So I'll probably end up finishing this next week.
I've thought about this for a while now, but I'm surprised Screw Attack hasn't done a a Joestar versus a Belmont yet. I'm surprised.
Yeah, they did a Joestar versus like a Persona character. I think they had Joker versus what's his name? Giovanni.
Yeah, but like a Joestar versus a Belmont would kind of be perfect though.
Yeah, if they went backwards, right? If they had like either Jonathan or Joseph versus like Simon or something. Actually, Jonathan versus Trevor would probably be the perfect example because both of them kind of started their things. But
Well,
yeah, because
yeah, I mean,
they're both
they do what they
they're
do.
both lineages of vampire slayers. I mean, it's kind of a coincidence that it happened twice. Is that a coincidence or was that intentional?
I don't know, honestly. I think it was intentional. Because given when the first Castlevania came out versus the first JoJo, and there were some years between it, I do think Castlevania was an influence on Phantom Blood, like directly.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say intentional. But also, Araki's the type of guy that kind of does whatever he wants. So it's like, yeah, the first one was basically Castlevania, and he kept the lineage thing. But then the second one's already okay. But what if we were like Castlevania on crack? So he brings in the Pillar Men, right? And then after that is like, well, I just want to do a bunch of different things. Um, so like, even Final Fantasy was somewhat an influence on him. That's why he wanted to do like this globetrotting world adventure, but he also wanted to do like his own thing when it came to like he kind of invented the sands because he liked the idea of characters who summon things to do battle for him, but he didn't want to necessarily do things the way that a lot of summoners do it. Which is kind of a cool thing that he invented it because we wouldn't have games like, say, the Shin Megami spin-offs Persona without JoJo, right? Because JoJo
yeah.
Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable, was the direct inspiration on the Persona games. Because
I
he
mean,
Yeah.
even I have a character with that same power. So,
yeah, yeah.
well, I mean, the concept conceptually.
It was just it started getting a little stagnant for a while, and even he believed that too. Because the problem is Stance can just do anything, so there's no reason to come up with different powers as long as you can have Stance, because Stance could have any power, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's like when he reset the world, he kind of let himself be creative with Steel Ball Run again and be like, okay, so not everything's just Stance. We still have Stance because I like Stance, kind of my favorite thing I invented. Talking from like his perspective, but it's not just Stance. We have a bunch of other stuff now too.
Actually,
What was that concept done before JoJo?
The stand? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, sort of in mythology. There's like the ideas that like astral projection or people having avatars fight for them or whatever, but it really
Mhm.
wasn't common, I would say, in like media.
Mhm.
Like JoJo's was really kind of the one to start that in the modern
Mhm.
form.
Yeah, of course. And then you have all this latest stuff coming out like Persona and Ajin. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. And you can
well,
see there's like a lot of things that are functionally that. Like Digimon, the early stuff is functionally like a stand because the Digimon does all the fighting for the person. And they kind of
not
are similar to like reflecting a
not
part of your
exactly.
personality.
Digimons are their own characters
Well, they
completely.
are.
So
It is different, but like the inspiration, you can see so many in the first Digimon references to JoJo specifically. It's an extension of that idea
yeah,
because all of the
Digimon are not
character
extension of the
archetypes
person they pair with.
of the
Mhm.
Digimon are reflected of the Digimon trainer.
Mhm.
But it only starts there. It's a thing that evolves very much quickly into its own thing. I'm just talking about like all of the things that JoJo's inspired.
Mhm. I mean, I think JoJo was inspired itself was partially inspired by what's that post apocalyptic manga Fish of the North Star.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, 100% inspired by Hokuto no Ken. Like
no,
Araki would not even say otherwise himself. Like the way he draws his characters, they all
uh,
look like Fist of the North Star characters. Like his art style is influenced by that.
well, half talking about them, and I know you're not big on death battle metal, but they've actually had JoJo characters in several times.
No, he
Uh,
mi- he
Yeah, yeah,
mentioned he mentioned that himself. Mel
yeah. There
said
was
to
also
himself he mentioned that.
there was a
I
Hokuto no Ken versus JoJo where Jotaro fought Ken Taro.
yeah, it was a 1 minute medley.
Yeah,
Jotaro Kujo versus Kenshiro, and then
yeah. Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star.
they had Dio versus Al Alcard from Helsing.
Alucard.
Alucard from Hellsing. Yeah. Yeah, they did a lot with the 1 minute medleys. It was kind of just an excuse. It was an animator they partnered with to do a lot of the stuff that they just were never going to get around to for Death
Yeah.
Battle.
For a DBX one, they had Jotaro versus YU from Persona.
Hmm.
They had Kenjiro versus Jonathan Joestar. Demon Slayer versus Jojo. They had
And DBX
Jotaro.
is really just what became of 1 minute medley. Like they eventually just rebranded it into another Death Battle named show.
Oh, there's a full length Jotaro versus Kenshiro.
Yeah, yeah. They eventually brought him into a main one too.
And then
That
they
was the one
have
I was thinking of. I completely forgot about the 1 minute medley one.
yeah. Then they have a Joker versus Girono from JoJo.
No,
So one from Persona.
Giorno. It's Italian.
Giorno.
He's Giorno Giovanni.
Yeah. So yeah, Persona versus JoJo. I just
Yeah, that was
happened
the
to.
one I mentioned earlier when we were talking about it. Because that was the most recent one. Yeah, I used to watch Death Battle fairly like religiously. But that's because like I know the Screw Attack guys, so like I was always into Screw Attack. But also the entire time I was constantly complaining about their level of research.
Yeah.
And it was getting better for a while, but then like a lot of their recent stuff just it's almost like they're falling back into some of their old habits.
Okay. Yeah. I only started watching Death Battle in like the after during or after COVID or something.
Mm. Yeah, I've been
It
watching
was
it like like a decade or so. I'm trying to remember when the first Death Battle happened. I've been watching like since around the time that it started because I was already watching
mm,
Screw Attack stuff.
Yeah, I've watched Screw
I did not
Attack.
know. I did not watch them back to tens. Like uh
Hey, Outcast.
uh
No, the first one was in 2010. Yeah, so I've been watching it for like a decade and a half.
okay, because so like
But I
in
kind of
terms
stopped
of
watching them recently.
in terms of episodes, the best two so far I've seen was was Solid Snake versus Sam Fisher and Doctor
That
Who
was a
versus
fun
Rick.
one. I
Yeah,
like that one though because like that one was hard to mess up. The
they ju-
Sam Fisher versus Solid Snake.
they just recently did Gru versus Megamind.
That was not the best.
I haven't checked it out
That was
yet.
not.
One of my favorite ones is they were doing a lot of redos.
Mhm.
Like after I think it was after they got the rights back to start doing it solo, but it was during like one of their anniversary years. They were doing a lot of redos, and they did a redo of Link versus Cloud, and I liked that one for a few different reasons. One, I mean the animation had gotten way better by then, but the original Link versus Cloud is awful, like just completely awful. Like the research was just wrong. You could debunk all of their research easily, and they were going on about how this was the most controversial one they had done to date, where they kept going back and forth of like, well, this guy has this thing, so it can counter that thing, and it's like, yeah, they have a bunch of abilities, but the scaling is completely different between these two characters. It shouldn't even be close, which they ended up showing off in the redo. And the other reason why the redo was better is because they basically went and ripped off a bunch of research from people on the internet who actually did it more accurately. I remember seeing some exact like feats and almost word for word things that said from other videos that I had watched. Isn't Cloud a bit OP? Yeah, the scaling between Cloud and Link are completely different. Like if you wink Link off, right? If you like really just overball him, going with like Skyward Sword, you might be able to say, due to the power of the Master Sword and what it can defeat, Link is a planet buster. He's not. The only reason he ever does the stuff he does is because the Master Sword is a evil's bane, so he could kill somebody who could destroy a planet specifically with the evil's bane. But if you really really wank Link off, you could probably get him up to a planet buster. Cloud, on the other hand, had passed planet busting halfway through the game. Like it's not even close if you're actually paying attention to the feats that happen in the game. Um, Him and Sephiroth are way past that. You could easily get Cloud, especially with like the Knights materia, the summon one, up to like universal destruction. Like the power levels between these characters are not even close at
And
all.
hello, Sketchbook. How are you? He says Death Battle sometimes dumb in the choices of verse matches. The Starscream and My Little Pony was like, what?
Oh, a
I said
lot of
that's
what
a
they
joke
intentionally
episode.
do is like joke matches. Yeah, like
That's a
they
joke
even tell
episode.
you they have a lot of joke matches. Even like one of the ones you said that you liked, Fizz, the Doctor Who versus Rick, is basically filling in the joke match for that season, because like you can semantically come to the conclusion of who would win, and I think they did pick the right conclusion for ending that one.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also two characters that you really probably shouldn't put into a serious match, and it's more fun to put them up against each other in a joke like match where you just kind of
I know.
have fun and play with the different things they could do.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like realistically, if you're not linking off Link, the strongest Link is a building buster. Like that's what Link is. He's a building buster. He could easily destroy a skyscraper with the tools in his kit, right? But he's not doing more than that.
Sketchbook
And
says,
and you have to use everything like from his like the giant's gauntlets or whatever, plus his bombs and stuff. Like you're really stretching it for him to do it, but that's the highest he gets.
let's see. Sketchbook says, yeah, they did the same thing with Wolverine versus Raiden. Metal Gear series is just way off. Just in fight experience and training alone, they're not the same. And then he says, I'm okay, Rick. Oh, good to hear.
Yeah, yeah, Wolverine is not being beaten by Raiden. Like that, that's just not actually happening. And the problem is like Wolverine's just had too many comics with way too many things. Where Wolverine has survived punches by people who could somehow punch a solar system out of existence. You know?
Guess those people were just
I know.
holding back,
Yeah, yeah.
pulling their punches.
But like he could survive the full onslaught of people like that because of the Marvel BS and his adamantium skeleton, right? And then he would regenerate the rest of his body that got destroyed in the process because that's just how Wolverine works. Um, Red is strong, but he's not like as strong as Thor or the Incredible
Of course
Hulk,
not.
who Wolverine has survived full power hits from.
Yeah. But with all that said, it is that time. It's actually past that time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
um, so I'll ask it. You probably know the answer. Anything you want to promote, Fitzchozo?
No.
Yeah. Metal. Anything you want to promote?
Yes, yes. Let me go grab the link for it. But I'm going to promote my website specifically, even though it's going to be the raw link. I am probably going to be just purely working on the X Dynamis Chaos tabletop RPG for a while now. Like as far as like when I'm working on EDK stuff, that's probably going to be the only thing I'm working on. I might even just do some just chatting streams where I'm working on it on stream and just responding to whatever the chat is bringing up while I'm working on it. But I'm trying to prioritize getting that through, so people should look forward to that.
Sketchbook says exactly. Wolverine took being flung by the Hulk and from skydiving without a chute. Then says later,
Yeah.
everyone's outcast says good night, everyone.
You know, I did the math on that. Skydiving without a chute actually isn't that big of a feat. I thought it was going to be because I included an X Dynamis Chaos, but I'm like, man, the character who hits the ground, well, actually hit the water. The ground would be slightly worse, but the character who hits the water from skydiving without a chute has gone through way worse than this prior to this point. I thought it was going to be a much higher feat than that, but like Raiden, you could probably drop Raiden out of a plane and he could hit the concrete without a chute and he'd be fine. Like it's just not that big of a feat.
Yeah. Well, I would think it would also depend on the height too, wouldn't it?
Well, no, because you're gonna hit. Well, there's a certain cutoff because you're gonna hit terminal velocity. Like you're gonna hit the fastest you're ever gonna go because of like drag and stuff. So it's like it will vary until you hit a certain height, and then every height above that is just gonna be the same.
Okay. Anyways, well, thanks Fitzchosen for coming on. Thank Meadow for coming on. Sorry we didn't get a lot of drawing and stuff done in this episode. We will finish this off next week as long as we don't get distracted. And thanks everybody in the chat for coming by. It's great having everybody here. Make sure you rewatch. Go check out my few videos from the weekend where I was at a Comic-Con. And we'll catch you all later. Bye for now. God bless. Love you all. Have a great and wonderful day, night. What